You shows you on Facebook what to do. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 206th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. If you missed our previous episode, go back and check out Laura Boucher. She is finishing up her PhD in consumer psychology, and she is one smart individual. We got into should you brand yourself, how to brand yourself versus branding a company, how to rock a trade show. We just got into a lot of the nuances that make people do what they do. And in sales and marketing, it's all about persuasion, right? We can't force anybody to do anything. So we have to use our brains. We have to be persuasive. We have to be consistent. We have to be congruent. And we get into a little bit of all of that and more. Head on over to thesaleswhisperer.com/session 205. for the show notes and for that episode. Coming up next is Tim Sanders, who is a sales wizard. The guy is smart. I was taking notes. I was tweeting while I was doing an interview with him. There were a couple of writer-downers in there. I've been in sales and at least studying human persuasion and marketing and how to win friends and influence people since 1994. And this guy still had me writing down things and sharing things. So you're in for a treat in the next episode. This week, we've got a friend of mine, Dennis Yu, super smart, technical marketer, advertiser, does the social media marketing for the Golden State Warriors, literally travels the world teaching what he does, helping businesses get more leads, and he has a $1 a day method to help you get started on Facebook. So you are certainly in for a treat. Something I haven't mentioned, I don't think, is my new app, and it works on iPhones, it works on Androids, works on anything. Go to WesApp, WESAPP.info. You can download the app for free, put it on your home screen, and you'll get updates on new blog posts, on new episodes, all types of good stuff. You can contact me from there. So please check that out, wesapp.info. Now let's bring on the info from Mr. Dennis Yu. Now, before we do, a little technical side note. I sound like I am in slow motion and drinking cough syrup on this interview, and it's just a technical glitch. This has happened once or twice in the past, over a couple of hundred episodes. I wish I knew why, but at least Dennis and his folks sound really good. And if you listen to this, though, at 1.5 or double speed, like I listen to my podcast, I probably sound fine. But just so you know, I was not drinking excessive amounts of cough syrup as I was doing this interview. Now let's bring on Dennis.
Dennis, you, the posse, and the gang from Utah. Welcome to the podcast. How the heck are you?
Hey, Wes. Good to see you.
I've had husband and wife on a couple times, but I've never been ganged up on. Like, should I feel threatened, or is this like security?
Well, we just want to match your awesomeness, Wes.
All right. I don't know if that's possible, but I appreciate the effort. Okay. So, thanks. Went up in force. So, man, we met actually a couple years ago through golf. I won a little contest, and y'all were helping me with some face advertising and some crazy stuff. You have moved on. You got a new business. I'll let you tell us all about it. And I've been following you doing some things with a certain basketball team. They're kind of good, right? I don't remember. But doing some stuff with sports. So I don't want to steal your thunder, but can you take her to kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what you're up to, and we'll dive down the rabbit.
I think we were stealing some thunder, actually, Wes.
Ooh, they just steal some thunder, but don't get me going.
Yeah. So we believe in amplification, and everything we've done, which is driven by these young adults, is to prove that social, or whatever you want to call it, is made for the underdogs. It's made for the small businesses, for the consultants, for the people that are the little guy, the David versus the Goliath. Because if you have something good, if you've done something well, if you have a story, you can beat the giants out there. And likewise, if you don't have good content, if you don't have a pure heart, if you don't actually care about your customers, that's not going to work in social. So people, when they see what we've done at Blitzmetrics to be able to use Facebook ads and different kinds of social ads to drive results, as in revenue tickets, this kind of thing. They see what they see when they look in the mirror, right? If they're not happy with social, they can blame us. But you know what? I'd say there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. And we look at things like the Golden State Warriors and how they're driving lots of revenue. And we've got case studies from Facebook and these other guys. And it's not just the Warriors. It's all manners of companies of different industries, B2B, software companies, boring sorts of companies. And the common thread is that we're amplifying what's working. And to make that more specific, it means that you've got happy customers, right? I know before you were the sales whisperer, you were the Infusionsoft whisperer. And so you kicked some serious butt in Infusionsoft. And because of those kinds of stories, whether they're seen digitally or not, that creates a word-of-mouth effect. And that causes other people to hear about you. And this was the case before there ever was the Internet, right? This has nothing to do with EdgeRank and algorithms and bidding.
The day that the Internet didn't exist?
Well, the people have always existed.
Surely you jest.
You calling me Shirley now? Thought we were friends.
You said only your friends could call you Shirley, but I digress.
So we're on a mission, Wes, to show people that it's not about tools. You know, if you buy a brand new Tesla and you go into autopilot and you crash it, that's your fault. That's not Tesla's fault. And if you launch a Facebook ads campaign or if you launch a website and you fail, that's your fault. That's not WordPress or Facebook. And we believe that if you take complex things and you break it into different tasks, then the young adults like we have here can actually run circles around these people that think they're really amazing consultants or social media gurus or personal branding experts or whatever they want to call themselves these days.
All right, well, let's break it down because you say it's for the small guys, but then you quote or reference the Golden State Warriors. People are like, well, they're small? What's going on? You know, I just had, Sean Williams from VaynerMedia down in L.A.?
Yeah.
So I just had him on and published his episode and about social, and the first thing he went to is advertising.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, well, there's an interesting take on things. It's like social is now a pay-to-play. So would you agree with that? Is that what you're talking about?
It is. And so we talk about $1 a day. People can complain about Facebook gaming the algorithm or squeezing you out. I mean, look, I was going to put this on for you. I've got a Facebook shirt right here. I was going to put it on, but then you think like I was rooting for the other team or something, right? But here's what's going on. If you can spend $1 a day, you can get your message out to the right people. But just because you can get the message out there, it doesn't mean it's going to convert unless the content is good. And when it comes to small businesses, the little guys, students that are trying to make stuff happen where you think, oh, I don't have any money, I don't have a team, I don't have any resources, I don't have the experience. One of my friends, he had a problem with the Toyota dealership. They were screwing around with his car. He spent $1 a day targeting the people who work in Toyota in Japan. He got a call the next day, got the thing resolved. Our buddy Brian Eisenberg, he had a problem with Sears. They messed up on the remodeling. Grandma or whatever, his mother wrote a letter. We published that, and we spent $1 a day targeting people at Sears. That thing was resolved 2 or 3 days later. A friend of mine who wanted to get his stuff, he's got the licensing for all the Elvis bedding and royalties and Elvis sheets and Elvis pillows and all that. He put up some pictures and videos of his merchandise and targeted the people who work at Walmart, who are in merchandising, that live in Bentonville, Arkansas, not in L.A. or these random clerks or whatever. And guess what? His stuff's in Walmart now, selling. This is all about the little guy because you only need $1 a day. You don't need $1 million. You don't need TV ads. You don't need the Super Bowl. You don't need fancy video and tools and Infusionsoft consultants and all that kind of stuff. You need $1 a day and good content and something that has meaning behind it that people will get behind.
All right. So it's interesting you say that because I've been speaking to folks about getting some help around SEO, around SEM. They're looking at my competition, you know, professional sales trainers, famous people. And he's like, they're spending $7,000 a month. If you want to compete with them, if you want to get leads at their level, you know, $7,000 a month and 90 days at least. And I said, okay, so you want to charge me $7,000 a month for your services and then $7,000 a month in actual ad spend. So you're telling me I got to spend $42,000. Is that right? Yeah, $42,000 and wait 90 days to hopefully compete at that level. So, I'm kind of scratching my head. So this is a big departure from $7,000 a month. So who's right?
Do you have $1 a day to test that out? I would call.
I have $1.50.
Oh, we're going to give you the premium pack.
Over and above, baby. I deliver 50% more value.
That's right. We've got a whole process here that we want to give all your listeners to test it out. Because, it's one thing where you see, you give LeBron James a basketball and it looks real easy and he dunks on everybody. And then you give that same basketball to someone else and says, here, you can play just like, or, Nike had the same commercials where if you had the Air Jordans, then you were going to be able to dunk on everybody, right? And play just like Mike.
I had the repumps, baby, and I still have the box.
There you go. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Adidas has a new version of that's coming out. Anyway, the idea is it's not the tool. It's not the fact that you're leveraging some high-dollar consultant charging you $7,000 a month for their magic because they're the grand high priest and no one else can talk to God except through them or whatever it is. It's the fact that you've got a process and the power of checklists and taking things that are complex and breaking them down into little pieces. This guide here, this is how we do it. You know that song? Am I too old? Who is it that sings that one? Right? This is what we want people to talk about because otherwise the emperor's got no clothes and the fat man's trying to get his shoes shined. How the heck do you know? I mean, really, use your common sense. $42,000 for 90 days? I guess if you've got that kind of money and you don't really care, go for it. But those people here's what you should do, Wes. Any of those people that are claiming that they're going to do this for you, why don't you look at their personal brand?
Right.
Why don't you look at their list? Why don't you look at their Infusionsoft? Why don't you look at their website and see how broken it is? And would you trust them?
And by the way, that's Montel. This is how we do it.
This is how. Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah.
All right. So, what practical things that some do? I mean, we can pick on me. I got broad shoulders. I've got a brand new program. I really have only started using it as a whisper so far. And it's called Sellers. So it's a printed newsletter. Mm-hmm. Old school, going to paper. It's a monthly membership. So I think it's a pretty good content. I've certainly got the ground. So how do I grow that for $1 a day?
So Wes, no offense, but the fact that you say that your content is good, that doesn't mean a thing to me.
I understand. It's brand new, so it may not convert.
What I want to know is of your friends and the people that have seen this newsletter, what do they have to say? Because they like it...
My mom likes it.
All right. Well, where do you get the highest authority, right? Because authority is three things. The highest authority content, by the highest authority people, and the highest authority publications, right? If you can get that trifecta, great. But if it's just your mom and she says it's amazing and all babies are beautiful and all lemon pies are delicious, then good for you, right? But if it's colleagues then, if it's other people that are customers of yours that are saying good things because you gave them the content, not because you're just trying to get a testimonial, but they say something specific that's knowledgeable, that doesn't sound like something that's pure sales, then you've got your customers doing the work for you. And this is the catch-22 with launching. You've got to get it in the hands of people that are going to say something good, ideally authentic. And then when the idea of bootstrapping where you go from small to medium and you take medium to large, when you have small authority, little people, little things trickling in, you can take that and boost that, amplify it via the $1 a day to the people that really matter in that particular vertical, right? And the more power you have through this word of mouth, through the effect of peer pressure, the more other people are going to want to buy, because what is really behind the buying decision? There's a left brain, right brain decision. There's the right brain, which is more creative. It's the left-handed thing where people are deciding based on emotion. And there's the left brain where it's calculating and rational. This is kind of like the slow and the fast decision cycles. People are inherently lazy. They don't want to go through all the research and figure out what's better and inspect everything. That just takes work. So if they know that Wes Schaefer and 5 other people in that area of expertise, and who knows, maybe your mom is an expert in that newsletter that you're releasing, but 5 other people in that area of expertise are saying this is great, then the research cost, the left brain cost necessary to evaluate goes down, and people will say, you know what, that's pretty good. That's why, when we go out to eat, we look at Yelp, and we look at stuff that is more than 4 stars and it's got 100-plus reviews. And then we don't have to do as much research. You're trying to make it easy for people to buy. So when you create social proof, you have to get the snowball rolling. So with the launch, get it out there. You've got to collect the content. Your feedback better be good. If it's not, then spending $1 a day is really just rubbing salt into that wound, right? Because technology is an amplifier. It makes the good things better and it makes the bad things worse. So who cares who this consultant is? In fact, if we were the agency or the consultant that was, let's pretend, was pitching you, even though we don't pitch, we wouldn't want to take you on unless we knew that there was already proof that your stuff was authoritative. Not because you said so, but because other people in the industry that have authority and credibility said so, because then we know that it's like cheating. It's like remarketing without having the list. It's going to convert.
Mm-hmm. So things there. How does somebody, let's say somebody is rolling out something new. This is a new offering from me, but sharing 20 years of experience in that, but just in a different medium. But what if somebody has been around a while, but most are terrible at getting referrals or testimonials? So there could be a very well-established business that just doesn't have a lot of testimonials. Should they spend some time getting testimonials first, then come to this today strategy?
Well, the question is, how much money are you willing to waste before you harvest the things that you already have? If someone's been in business like you for 20 years, done marketing, lots of great connections, lots of people that are going to say good things, lots of proof that you can document 1, 2, 3, 4 into a checklist, then that's gold that's sitting on the ground that you just need to pick up, right? Why go out there and try to launch new things if you've not squeezed the maximum yield out of your existing assets? The fact that you've been doing this for 20 years means that the experience is going to show through. There's going to be more stuff being said about you than what you could ever say, right? If you're in the position of being brand new in a space and you don't have the connections, you don't have the industry experience, then you're going to need a different strategy. But you've already got the content out there, and the most authoritative content comes from other people. So why don't you let them do the work for you, unless you're a masochist and you just want to suffer?
Well, most people. I'm a lover, not a fighter, though, man. I like pain.
The I'm too busy is a total smokescreen. It's a red herring, because when people say they're too busy, what they're really saying is it's not a priority. Because if one of your kids is sick, are you going to say you're too busy to take them to the hospital? No, you're never too busy. It's just a matter of priority. Is it a priority? Do you care about your customers? Do you care about educating? Do you care about taking what you know and putting it out there? Or are you just trying to make money, like some of these get-rich-quick people in San Diego, right? Or are you trying to – and I'm broad-brushing a few of them. There's one of them that burned us recently, which I'll go into later. But are you an honest giver? Are you authentic? Do you really care about this thing, whether or not you're collecting dollars? That's the whole point of a lead magnet, right? You're going to put your stuff out there, whether or not people are going to pay, because the fact that will produce social proof is currency enough. Because the value of a customer is how much money they pay you plus the social proof that they generate. And some people, their value is way, way more in the social proof, and they have no direct revenue value. The whole point of the $1-a-day influence strategy is there are people out there that have huge, huge bank accounts in social influence, even though they'd never buy from you. The value of their social influence is so high that it's worth working with them.
Right.
Like you. We're giving you free consulting right now. Are you paying us for this?
Well, you made me send all my Chick-fil-A coupons.
Are you wearing your cow costume today?
Did you see my picture?
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, I'm going to have to share it again. So and I did just post that on Facebook. The things for my daughter, 'cause she works for them. But, with 7 kids, man, all the free food we can get.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Oh, very nice.
You got a reflection. There you go.
Wow. That's a lot of meals.
Got to get the spicy chicken, baby. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So let's shift gears then. So that was a new membership thing I'm on. But, I've sold Infusionsoft for 8 years now. I've sold Hub for 2. And so that's one of the areas as well, looking at and saying, hey, there's a lot of competition, blah, blah, blah. You got some money. And, I'm sitting there scratching my head saying, you got to be kidding me. Telling me this with a straight face, $42,000 for 90 to try to break in to something. Now, mind you, I've got a 10-year-old domain name, 8 years of content, 800 pages in post, a couple hundred videos. And there's more competition, but I'm like, I need to spend $7,000 a month to amplify 8 years of steady content creation, including a mastermind group, dozens of testimonials. Like, really? I $1 a day. I'll even spend $1.50 a day because I trust you. So what are some things that I could do in that situation? Because there's plenty of people out there. Cocker's been in business 10 years. Dentist, been in business 10 years. Our dog groomer, she's been in business 15. Our landscape guy, he's been in business 15 years. So what could they do for $1 a day to get the word out?
Well, it's very simple. You start with the core of the personal brand. So the person who is a dog groomer, an orthodontist who mows your lawn, there's a reason why they're doing it. They have a story that their golden retriever died and, something happened, or they became a vet because of this event that happened. And if they tell their story and you get them on camera and they talk, they don't have to be Tom Cruise or whatever. They just need to talk for a couple minutes about their business, about who they are, about why they're in business, about they've been doing it for 18 years. Well, that means something, but I want to know more about that. I want to know what they've learned. I want to know how they're different. I want to learn in a story kind of way. You see, the trouble with local, especially because they don't have resources, is that they end up spending money with these charlatans that believe it's a technology problem and a marketing problem. And so they want to redo their WordPress website over and over and over again. They want to switch from Infusionsoft to HubSpot. They're messing around with all these technology decisions. What a waste of time. What a complete boondoggle, right? How about they get out their iPhone in a decently lit room and their daughter or whatever, you got 7 kids, that's 7 more free employees that film content. Yeah. I was going to ask you if you were LDS or not. And
Catholic, baby, Catholic. We're just like the Mormons, except we can drink and fall back in love with our kids.
So the things that no consultant can do is to tell your story. And doing that is free. It's a couple minutes of your time. It doesn't have to be this professional $10,000 video thing. It's you in a few minutes. And then you amplify that. You collect more word of mouth. As these people are going about doing their jobs. So let's say one dude who's your landscaper, when he's done doing your lawn and all this kind of stuff, and then he comes up to you and he says, Wes, hey, man, what do you think? And you look at this thing and you say, wow, thank you so much, man. I like how you've done the bushes. And, I like how the grass is all clean. And, wow, you've been doing this thing for so many years. And I like how you've always shown up on time and all this kind of stuff. People at the moment of purchase, they are happy to share their feedback. So you've got to build in a process to do this, right? And so it's not a one-time consulting thing. It's a process like this where you have to do it. You can have minions and specialists or whatever, other people assist you. Your kids assist you. But it's got to be owned by you. Just like if you're a rock band and you lose your lead guitarist and Axl Rose has to sub in for you, you don't want to have someone who's never sung before. You want to have someone who's, ideally the rock band has to, anyone who comes in, they're going to be an imposter. And that's why there's such a disconnect in digital marketing, because these consultants are basically fat people trying to coach you on athletics. When they don't carry any true weight or credibility, their methods are not valid, and so they don't want accountability. They don't want to reveal their tactics, because it's all proprietary and all this. This is the trouble I have with online marketing. That's why we publish these guides. because we want people to try it out. And if you find in a pilot for your $1.50 a day that it's working, you're going to want to put a quarter into the machine. You're going to want to put a $20 bill into the machine, won't you? You might even put a $100 bill into the machine. But you're not going to write a $42,000 blank check to get going. So these small businesses, it has to start with content that only they can produce, which is then amplified, which is then enhanced by what their customers have to say. And once you've got this virtuous cycle that's spinning, you're collecting this content, then your customers are doing the work for you. Then advertising and social and Yelp reviews and Gmail ads and YouTube and all those things are going to work for you. But if you don't have positive reviews on Yelp or Google or Facebook, if people aren't checking in, if you're not doing a good job or whatever it is, no amount of external support or technology or tools is going to overcome that problem. If you've got a broken bone, no amount of massaging is going to fix that.
Right. So I got 5 new video testimonials that I haven't even edited yet and thrown up on the website. So what do I do with those? Do I put them on YouTube? Do I put them on Wistia and on my site? Do I put it up natively to Facebook? Do I put it to my Facebook page and then spend the dollar, drive my page? I mean, what would I do with those?
Well, you put them everywhere. If you put them on your website, my question would be, how many people are coming to your website? Now, if it's a small business, the answer is nobody, right? You've got to drive people there through advertising. Oh, but I don't want to put it on social because, I need to own my website. Well, you know what? You're paying Google to get the traffic there. You're still dependent upon a feed. Facebook's algorithm, Google's algorithm, they're all algorithmically driven. So you would put it everywhere. You would put it especially not just as a post on your Facebook page, but then run ads to it inside a carousel. You have 5 of them. Have those as 5 boxes inside a carousel. Then spend $1 a day against the target, against the people that you think are going to buy your services. It's that easy. If you have the content, and if that content is good. Capital if.
Well, you mean the content on my website?
I don't care where the content lives. I'm talking about content. You talking in front of a camera. You typing words into a text box somewhere. Mm-hmm. I don't care where it lives. Why does it matter where it lives? It could live inside an app. It could live inside an Infusionsoft email sequence. Who cares where it lives?
Right. And so $1, I mean, can people really, that's normal. Are they going to do that for a couple of weeks? They're going to do that for 30 days before that's working? Or if it's time to add it $2, $5, $10?
Again, so the dollar is just a test. $1 gives you the ability to reach 200 or 300 people. You're not trying to reach the world, right?
Okay.
And Wes, so it depends on your goals, basically. Like Dennis said, with the machine, if the dollar works, you might put more money in it. But if you have short-term goals, the dollar can help you in a short window. So 2 quick examples. We give this kind of same, speech, this go around to a lot of people. We gave it in San Francisco a few weeks ago, and we've had 2 stories come back. So one guy, he used it. So he's looking for a new job at Yelp. He had all this experience, as a Yelp user, reviews or whatnot. So he put this content together, put together his portfolio, his resume, whatever you want to call it. And he used $1 a day to target everyone that works at Yelp and is in the hiring departments. And he put out a video of himself, explaining why he's qualified. And within a week, he had a job at Yelp. Another example is this girl. She's really into fitness, one of those bikini models.
Was this just on Facebook? Or was it LinkedIn or Twitter or what?
I think he just did all through Facebook.
Yeah, he wrote a blog post. He used Facebook to amplify it.
Okay.
You can do it on any of the channels, but Facebook, we believe, optimizes the easiest, especially for startups on this. First getting into it, this other lady, so she does fitness. She's like a bikini model, wannabe kind of. That's where she wants to go. So she took some pictures, did some content, put together this thing, and then she amplified it to everyone that works for Sports Illustrated for $1 a day. And within 2 days, she had people from Sports Illustrated calling her. So I don't know if she's actually going to make it in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, but she had people reach out to her, and she spent, less than $5 to do that. So again, it depends on your goals. So you might end up putting more money in it if you want to do it in the long run. But whether you're in it for the short run, the long run, $1 a day is a great place to start. You have to have content. You have to have a why, what you're trying to do, and then know who you're targeting. And if you do that, we believe you can be successful.
So how do you narrow that down kind of in in your world, I would imagine? I mean, because you can help all types of customers. So, like, if I'm selling HubSpot or Soft Entreport, you know, I'm not targeting a company. I could target a company, right? But most of these are smaller companies. So I'm more, you know, looking at a total employee size, revenue size, you know, so it's a much, it's a broader world, right? I mean, it could literally be, you know, 3 million small business owners, you know, or 27 million business owners buy software from me. So I drill that down. I mean, how do y'all drill it down, right? Because I got to imagine your customers, I mean, they could be across the entire United States from, you know, $500,000 companies to $50 million companies. So how do you narrow that focus?
Right. I'm going to let Scott take this one. You know, I'm OS. I got that monotone voice. You don't want to hear me talk for too long. So I'm going to just want to put Scott here. You want to swap or you put
I can get one here. That's fine.
I'll move. Come over here.
Okay.
Yeah, get up close to the fix it up good.
I think one of the best things to do is to not focus on trying to hit everybody, especially when you're in the testing phase. Something that's really good is to try to influence the influencers so that they can your audience essentially becomes their audience as well. And so if you're hitting these big media or PR targets or people that, like if you look up the top 5 blogs, like the people that read the top 5 blogs in your industry, then that's going to be much better if you can get them to pick up your ad and see your ad. Then they're going to share that with their audience, and it's going to be kind of like an amplification effect, and you're going to get more bang for your buck, even if you just targeted generally rather than somebody that's actually going to influence their people that follow them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea because, you know, I also speak, so I want to grow my keynote speaking. So I could find like heads of associations or, you know, big conferences and find maybe some of their key people. Now, I have heard stories of people kind of gaming the Facebook custom audience because you have to have a certain size, 100. Is that right? 100 people?
20,
yeah.
20? Oh, okay. That's even smaller because I had Brian Switchcow, Ghost Influencer.
Yeah.
And he targeted his mate. And he got picked up an ad week, whenever. I'm totally stalking him, just messing with him. And but he was able to kind of proof the system somehow to have just a custom audience of 1. But I mean, 20 is still super small. So I could find like the top 20 associations I want to speak at and run ads to them like, hey, great speaker, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about it is that you can, because of the job title targeting, you can target these people that are very influential and actually, you know, it's kind of like the escalating. If you're like going to a customer service or calling into some sort of thing like that, you're skipping all the lower level people and just hitting the higher level people that will actually make the decision in the end.
So I'm going to have to start running some ads to Samsung because we've had a heck of a time with the refrigerator. So I'm going to call Brian. I know Brian Eisenberg. I'm going to send me your mom wrote, and I'm going to tweak it for Samsung. So that's awesome. All right. And so I know, Dennis, the other day y'all were making some videos. You had the wizard Paul Sokol on there. These are resources you're just sharing with the world?
Yeah, it's free. There's no catch. We believe that teaching through example, by sharing what we know about optimizing, will encourage other people to share their knowledge. And what we did there in San Francisco last week is with Massimo, who runs, as you probably know, Ad Espresso, which is the most popular Facebook ads software for optimizing. So we said earlier, you want to create content that has the highest authority. So if we're creating Facebook ads optimization content, the two that we're going to work with are Facebook directly, and we're going to work with whoever's got the largest network there, because that gives us the highest authority on optimizing Facebook ads. So Paul understands the marketing automation, automated experience angle, which is great. We believe that is where Facebook's going. Facebook believes that as well. We believe it's more than just running ads. That's why we talk about amplifying, which comes from a checklist, this progression of creating content in a certain way, right? These 6 phases. And by demonstrating that you can take any kind of complex goal to drive sales, to grow your business, to get people to attend your rock concert, into a series of steps where you're collecting content from your underlying community, and then you're amplifying, takes all of the black magic out of the, I need to hire some kind of consultant, right? And so Brian Switchcows, he did that on his roommate by targeting just his roommate and uploading audiences of 20 emails, of which 19 were female, and then he targeted just males, right? Mm-hmm. There's lots of ways to create influence, and like what Scott was talking about, when you are influencing the influencer, that is the inception, because it's the dream inside the dream inside the dream, because it is B to B to B to C. Because you're influencing the people that are going to write about you to these other customers that create a word-of-mouth effect that then drive the people that you're eventually wanting to get to buy. So it's playing chess, you're 8 moves ahead. Most marketers are single-move marketers. They can only see one step ahead, which is buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. I think people can see through that. But if you can create an inception layer that's 3, 4, 5 levels deep, then you got them. And
by the way, everybody listening to this, please buy them off. Okay, I have kids to feed. Let's just cut to the chase, shall we? Come on. I'm hungry, man. I'm a checkers player.
Oh, we'll play Othello then, or go.
All right, it's like that. Influence the influencer. And, I really want to take a moment, right? Let that sink in to everyone of this. And because one of the questions I asked towards the end, and we can ask it now, go into it, I asked my guest, say, what's one piece of it? Imagine that our listeners are playing, they're on a treadmill, right? They're on a road bike, getting their exercise in. They can't write anything down. But I want to stick in their head. What do we want them to do? I mean, would you say, as a result of listening to this, have links to everything to your giveaways and to your site and so they can find you. But would you say, think 4, 5, 6 steps ahead, think processes, think, influencer, so ultimately just think bigger picture beyond just that one immediate thing, run this quick ad and hope you have a positive ROI?
Right, Wes. So one of the things that I would want people to take away with this whole influencing the influencer idea is we actually have an example for you that is probably going to be pretty relevant. So the whole Bernie versus Trump, or Trump versus Bernie, as these two comedians, James and Andy, I believe. We had a student of ours who attended an online webinar 5 years ago on $1 a day. So this is 5 years back. He's taken $1 a day and has scaled it beyond what we ever expected him to come back to us with. So he has these 2 really talented comedians. He's using employer targeting, workplace targeting, and researching these influencers at these Academy Awards, and then targeting them, taking video content, which we know to engage incredibly well, coupled that with a relevant topic, and then on top of that, talent, actual good content, and then putting it in front of these people. We got a video from him days ago of him scrolling through a couple of these posts that he had and clicking on the people who were liking it. And it was people from the New York Times, people from the AMA Awards, people from the Golden Globes, right? So what I would say is the best thing to take away from this is that you can be a small business, you can be somebody who doesn't have all of these big corporate resources and rent the megaphone, which is the spirit of $1 a day. It's this idea that if you have a good message and you put it in front of the right people, they're going to notice it and they're going to elevate you, which comes back to that whole idea of B to B to B to C.
And this student who had these political videos, some of them have gone to 30, 40, 50 million views. They've been on the major talk shows. Mm-hmm. He's maintained a list of all the mentions that he's had using Scrapebox. And he wrote us a thank you note, and the title of it was, "Please check the box of the award that you want," because he's targeted all of the award shows. Now, you don't have to have crazy viral content like that, but if you could tell your story and it has some level of authenticity where there's something interesting, there's something believable, everyone's got a story like that they can tie to their business, that help them start their business. If they can tell that story, and then they can put that out there it doesn't have to be CNN and the New York Times. It could be the local newspaper. It could be some kind of association that you're a part of. That's something that nobody can deny because it doesn't feel like selling, yet it's the most potent selling that's ever occurred on the planet.
So how does he know where these people are visiting from? Are they opting in for something, or is he looking at IP addresses?
He's looking, well, first, you can just look at the people who've commented, liked, whatever on Facebook and look at their profiles to see where they are.
Okay.
Another thing is that you can set up different monitoring tools to see where you're being mentioned and who those authors are, and then connect that back with the targeting that you had. So we actually were able to connect the reach we had on the different posts. You can see the trending topics too. So Bernie versus Trump is a trending topic, and we see how much reach that got in Facebook, which is easy enough. You just type that in. Interestingly enough, that number was nearly identical to our ad-driven reach. So we know that most of the fact that we got it trending was because of advertising, and he's spending more than $1 a day. He might be spending $10, $20 a day. But either way, that you can grow a business off of $1 a day.
Right. Very nice. So where should we send people to learn about you?
Blitzmetrics.com.
Blitzmetrics.com. Easy enough. And what's that little handout you kept putting in front of the camera? What are we going to have a link to that?
So this
from your site, like a URL. Do you want me to do that from the write-up?
Yeah, this one's a ads workshop guide that we do whenever we're going around and speaking at conferences. We'll often put on different workshops, but we have a number of guides that we can share with you the links for.
Okay. And if we wanted to have you come speak, because y'all were in, was it just last week you were in San Francisco or ago?
It's all over the place, Wes. You know that by now.
Well, yeah. I know you were there because I had my son go. So he met Logan, right?
Yeah.
All right. Did you take care of him? He's kind of skinny, right? You got to just shove food down it, all right?
I have the same problem. So, I mean, we had a connection. I wasn't there, but we emailed back and forth a little before.
All right. He said good.
Those Chick-fil-A coupons you sent with both of us now.
I know. If a 19-year-old college intern gives thumbs up, then that must have been pretty good content. All right. So Dennis U. Hasse from Blitz Metrics. Thanks for the sales podcast, man. This has been awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
So I hope you saw beyond my cough syrup sounding voice and got the great content out of there, because there was a ton in it. You know, Dennis talked about, it's not about the tools, it's about the people. You have to amplify your message. I always tell my clients, people don't do business with you for one of two reasons. Either they haven't heard of you or they have. Now, if they have, that's a subject for another episode, for probably a lot more consulting. But if they haven't heard of you, try this out. Try this amplification method. Try working on influencing the influencers in your industry and then growing from there, okay? But again, as Dennis says, he's assuming you have good content. He's assuming you have a pure heart. But like he says, social media marketing, and specifically advertising on social media, is for the underdogs, right? It's for the little guys. We can move quickly. We can turn on a dime. We can literally launch an episode or a campaign in an hour, and certainly in a day. Whereas big businesses may take weeks just to schedule a meeting about making a change. So this really is in your favor, being a small business. And social media marketing, Facebook marketing, advertising, the way that you can really target and segment, $1 a day, $5 a day, $10 a day, super affordable, and you can really drill down right on the people you need and want to reach. And you have to do this. You have to understand your metrics. You have to be measuring and monitoring. I've really been rolling up my sleeves as I've been constantly let down by people that I've hired to help me. And I was just putting off the inevitable. But the more that I use tools like heat maps to see where people are clicking, also where they're not clicking, where they're opting in, where they're not opting in. I found a new pop-up for my website, and opt-ins were up the first week over 300%, and they're still growing. So just taking control of things. So using tools like that, looking at where people are clicking, where are they coming into your site, where are they exiting, going back and looking at old episodes or old blog posts that had low visitors, poor viewing patterns. So I'm sprucing those up. So rather than starting from scratch, I'm just finding underperforming assets, making them better, republishing them, re-promoting them, Because let's face it, I started my blog in late 2008, early 2009, when I started really writing regularly. So, I'm recording this now. It's over 8 years. I mean, my writing style has changed. My abilities have changed. My knowledge has changed. The market has certainly changed. So why start from scratch? Go find something that was maybe okay 5, 6, 7 years ago. Now modernize it and then make it great. It's so much easier to start with something you already had created, right? Rather than staring at a blank screen. But the point is, test and measure. Too many entrepreneurs think there's some magic potion out there, a certain incantation, right? Magic words you can use, but it's not. Look up the keywords, see where people are clicking, see what people are searching for. And then, I had a blog post not too long ago. I talked about building in the way of progress. When I was in real estate, I'm rehabbing a house right now in Orange County we're about to sell. But when I was in Texas, I built a couple spec homes. I actually got my license. We were buying dirty, ugly houses and rehabbing them and flipping them. But there was an old motto that, obviously there's location, location, location. But when you're building, you want to build a house next to water, build a house with a view, or build in the way of progress. Meaning, a new road's coming through, a new highway, so go build your convenience store, right, in the way of progress. Go build your house out in a field where a neighborhood is going to be, and they're going to come buy you out. So the same thing with your marketing. You want to market, put yourself in the way of progress. Put yourself where people already are, where they're already coming. That's why they put billboards on the side of busy freeways, right, and not on a mountaintop. You need to be doing the same thing with your content and with your ads. So follow Dennis, see what those guys are up to. He shares a ton of content for free on all of his social media platforms. He's a very giving guy. His whole team, I'll get the video uploaded, but he had 8, I think, in the room with him. It was amazing. So follow smart people, okay, and then do what smart people recommend you do. And this smart person recommends you check out wesapp.info, WESAPP.info. You can do it right now on your mobile phone. It'll work on any smartphone. Add it to the home screen. Reach out to me. Let me know you did it. And then look for updates to get pushed to you so you'll never miss anything this smart guy says. Every now and then I get smart. Hey, thanks for listening. After you get that app, please leave some comments, leave a 5-star review. Let me know you're out there. And remember to sell different.